Hoş geldiniz and welcome to the channel, everyone. Today we are in the magnificent coastal town of Kaş, and we are going to be exploring around here, maybe see what some restaurants in the area have to offer, and yeah, let's do this.
So we started today off with a lovely swim here in Kaş. Kaş is basically made up of a load of small rocky beaches. Some of the beaches are no longer than around 10 meters wide. So you're going to find very crowded rocky beach areas, kind of almost like little cove areas where plenty of people are having a nice morning swim. And I'll tell you what, it was incredibly refreshing, a great way to wake up, and now we're both ready to explore Kaş.
So we came here this morning on the local Dolmus or the bus. All the way from Kalkan. I believe it was like a 1 hour journey, right?
Yeah, just a quick 1 hour trip, super quick and easy. We just went from the autogar or the bus station of Kalkan.
And it was, I believe, 25 lira per person to get all the way out to Kalkan. And to be honest, the very first thing I noticed when we arrived in Kaş this morning was that the prices here are a lot lower than they are in Kalkan. Initially, when we arrived in Kalkan, we were like, okay, obviously we didn't know what was going to expect us, and we thought, okay, Kalkan might be a little bit more local because we thought it was less touristy, but it seems to be the other way around. So here it is a lot more affordable from what it seems like in comparison to Kalkan. Just to give you an idea, we just had some chai toast and some water there, and the chai was only 5 Turkish lira, whereas in Kalkan it was very difficult, first of all, to find chai, and when we found some chai it was like 20 Turkish lira for one glass. So it seems to be a little bit more affordable, and yes, it's still touristy as you can see, but it is I don't know, maybe like a little bit more mixed in with locals as well.
So right now we just arrived at Kaş Marina, and of course there's loads and loads of boat tours and trips that you guys can avail of. We're actually incredibly close to the Greek island of Castellorizo, or Castel Chorizo as Naomi likes to call it.
I call it Castel Chorizo, like the castle of chorizo.
But nonetheless, it looks like a really cool place to go, and there's plenty of express boats and options for you if you are interested in doing that. We're not going to be doing that today because the whole aim of today's video is pretty much just to show you guys around Kaş, bring you on a little bit of an adventure that we are going on. We just did take, as Naomi just said, a day trip from Kalkan to here, and it's super quick and easy to do. But yeah, this is what you can expect here at the Kaş Marina. The water here actually in Kaş is particularly beautiful. I can't really explain just how clear a lot of this water is. I hope the camera can even pick it up. Obviously here there's plenty of boats, so I'm sure there's a little bit of oil mixed in, but nonetheless the water is amazing, and that swim that we had this morning on the beach was something else. The water was actually cold and really refreshing, so that was a big difference, because a lot of the beaches that we went to, for example in the last video you probably saw, we went to Patara beach, and it was a sandy beach in Patara, and the water was nice and warm there, but here it's nice and cold.
I thought it was so interesting with the water temperature here, because it kind of seemed like you had this little bit on the top that was like freezing cold, and then you had like a mild area in the middle, and then kind of where your feet are, it was really freezing cold again. So it was kind of, I don't know, I've never seen that before. I don't know if they have like a stream or something from the mountain that flows into the bay area here, but it was like a really weird mix of temperatures in the water.
It's a really interesting place, and we're very happy and excited to continue to explore. There's apparently also an ancient city here that goes by the name of Antiphellos, so I cannot wait to check that one out as well.
So on our way to the Antiphellos ruins, we actually walked past another house that is also part of the ruins, I suppose. Check this out. I'm currently standing on a wall a little bit higher up in my flip-flops, safe as always. But there's no sign for this, so I have no idea, to be honest, what it is, but it looks really cool. And I wish there was a sign explaining what this house used to be. Anyway, you have a really nice view from here onto the sea. It's so nice. I really wish we could explain to you what it is. Hey, 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 we found a sign. This sign was on the other entry. We kind of walked in that way, so we weren't aware of this sign. So apparently this is a temple, and it is the only religious architectural structure from the ancient city of Antiphellos. And the original structure is dated to 1st century BC.
That's
My
old.
God, I just climbed on something really old. I probably shouldn't have.
So guys, we quite literally just found the stairway to heaven here in Kaş. We came down this stairs behind us, and we've been just kind of casually stumbling around here on the way towards Antiphellos, the ruins, the ancient city. And this staircase brought us down to what can only be described as heaven on earth. Have a look at this. Just people getting in and out here, swimming in the water, and it just looks truly amazing. You've obviously got beach clubs off here to the right and off here to the left, but right here in the center it seems to just be pretty much totally free and wild. You can just basically make your way down here onto that rock formation, head in and go for a nice swim, and I'd say there's plenty of life going on in that water for sure. Something that me and Naomi love to do in our free time whenever we do get a day off from making these videos for you guys. If we're not editing or doing anything else, this is exactly the type of place that we like to be spending time. Come, put the snorkel gear on, go for a nice relaxing swim in that cool water. It looks really, really inviting right now. All right guys, so we just both went in and did a little bit of snorkeling. We could not resist that water. It just looked like the perfect place to go for a swim. And it's the second time that we went swimming as well so far today. Every place where we stop and look at the water here in Kaş, it's just too beautiful to pass up. And we also have a staircase that's giving us a little bit of life advice here in Kaş as well. Live, love, laugh, and listen to humpbacks. All right.
You have to speak Walish.
All right, guys. So it seems we have made it to Antiphellos, the limestone amphitheater built on the south end of the Acropolis Hill. Let's go check this beautiful place out. We saw a few people standing up on top of the amphitheater, and it looks like you have some pretty nice views from up there.
Oh my God, check this out. So we are in the theater right now, and it said over there on the sign where Luke is that this amphitheater is from 100 BC. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. It's very hot today. And back then it was able to seat around 4,000 people. And it looks like right now that these kind of stones here are probably the original ones, and these here were probably renovated and put back in place to make it look like it is somewhat complete. But the entry to this magnificent theater is completely for free, which we didn't expect it, to be honest. Usually you pay like around 20 Turkish lira or something like that. but it's beautiful. And you have a crazy acoustic in here. When I'm speaking, I can hear myself up there in the ranks kind of, and it's echoing back and forth. It's really cool. Made it up to the top, which is more of an achievement than it might sound like. But oh my god, check out this view. You have the entire theater here, and back then obviously the coastline would have been similar enough. So if you sit up here, we're probably the cheapest places or considered the worst places, but you have the most amazing view. I would love to sit up here. On the cheaper seats are usually the nicer people anyway, so I would sit up here with my other poor friends.
Yes indeed, welcome to the very top of Antiphellos. The view, just wow. Actually one of the nicer views that I've seen in a while, and that says a lot because we've been exploring Turkey now for quite some time, and this is just perfect. Have a look. Unbelievable. Oh, and I climbed up a little bit higher just to get some better Instagram pictures, of course.
Very smooth descent from that little wall.
Yep. I can tell that I'm getting old. Oh my god, I nearly snapped my leg jumping off that wall. But wow, 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 there's Kaş. Nice view over Kaş here to the left hand side. And then off here in the distance, I'm assuming is the Greek island of Castellorizo. Wow. Do yourself a big favor and come and check out Antiphellos here in Kaş. And you have incredible hills up here in the background as well. What a place.
Looks like you have a lot of smaller Turkish islets down there as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know
just
if they're
off.
Turkish, but I just assume they are.
It's very hard for this camera to pick up, so I'm going to try and zoom in with my phone to try and show you guys the small little islands off there in the distance. It seems to just be like a little bit of a breakaway from Kaş itself. But guys, if you are at all on the fence about visiting Kaş, do it. Definitely already in my top 5 places that we've been to so far in Turkey, and you can probably tell why. It's unbelievable. This is another reason why both of us absolutely love Turkey. You can be randomly exploring around a place such as Kaş or Kalkan or something like that, and you're gonna stumble across many different trees and plants, etc., vegetation. This one here, for example, beautiful olive trees. We see plenty of people selling cactus figs as well, which are supposedly delicious. I've never actually eaten a cactus fig, but there's plenty of stuff like this growing around. You actually see on some of the palm trees as well dates growing out of them, and we were walking around actually not that long ago and we had a look at a palm tree, and there was dates growing on the palm tree itself, and it's just really beautiful, and it's a great kind of extra experience that you can have when you're walking around here. I'm sure it's the same in a lot of southern Mediterranean, climate countries. I've been myself to, the south of Spain, etc., but I haven't seen this much variety of things growing in a while. We actually ran into a really lovely guy while we were taking the bus from Kalkan out here to Kaş. His name was Mario, and he was from Canada, French Canada, Montreal, and he was a really cool guy. He's actually been walking around the world for the last 5 years, living out of nothing but a backpack, and we had some really interesting conversations. And while we were talking with him, he said that he gets a lot of his food from random stuff like this. He literally walks around and then finds like, oh, here's a pomegranate, here's a whatever, and if it's ripe and ready to eat, he has himself a little bit of a snack, and I don't see anything wrong with that. If it's there, it's there. And it's a great way of sort of cutting your costs if you're doing something like he is, wild camping and walking around the world.
He actually is walking the Lycian or Lycian, I believe it's Lycian Way at the moment, which is a hiking trail that goes all along the coast, and it's 500 kilometers. Can you freaking believe that? 500 kilometers walking in this heat, up the mountain, down the mountain, camping in the wild, and so on. Absolutely incredible.
He said that he gets up like around 4:30 a.m. every day, and that's when he starts walking. So he'll wake up, get his stuff ready, have a quick bit of breakfast, and then he's gone walking. And he says that he does roughly between 17 to like 20 kilometers walking a day. And that's just mind-blowing. I cannot even imagine doing that. I can't imagine walking 2 kilometers while it's this warm out.
Yeah, like, I don't know, I could imagine doing something like this maybe in Ireland, like the Wild Atlantic Way, or kind of around Sweden or something like that, where it doesn't get so hot during the summertime. But here it's like, I don't know, like walking 2 kilometers sometimes is already a lot. We just walked around the Marquès area or the central area for a while, and it really seems like Kaş has it all. Like, excuse me please, have you seen this view onto the mountains? You have the mountains, you have the ocean, you have loads of water activities, loads of cafes, bars, restaurants. Surprisingly enough, we saw a lot of restaurants that offer bao buns. I don't know how bao buns made it out to Kaş, but you can have a lot of bao buns here in the area. And if you walk up the Marquès area, so kind of that direction, you find loads and loads of historical houses. So like historical architecture that is super, super beautiful, and they placed so much attention to where to put flowers, for example, where to put the trees, and just the entire architecture and layout of this town is so magnificent. I have seen so many different flowers today. They even had hibiscus in one area, which were so, so beautiful. And yeah, it just seems like Kaş has it all.
I 100% agree with what Naomi just said. The architecture here in Kaş is truly just spectacular, almost one of a kind. It really, really just sort of sets you back and makes you just want to sit down, take it all in, which I've taken probably 1,000 photos today alone. So much so that I actually had to go into my phone and delete like a bunch of old photos off of my phone just because of how much stuff I was taking pictures of. It's just an incredibly beautiful town, and to be honest, it's somewhere I can see myself spending a lot of time. The architecture is just fantastic. I just want to walk and walk and walk and never stop walking and exploring this amazing seaside town. Just so you guys know, if you are arriving in Kaş in the bus station or the autogar and you do need a quick bite to eat, I would go to the restaurants that are on the street that kind of lead down towards Kaş town, because they are like literally like a 3 or 4 minute walk away from Kaş town center. But I did notice, walking past a lot of these restaurants, the prices of the food and drinks are around 40% cheaper than they are a 3 to 4 minute walk down the road. So it's obvious. If you're going to be having a meal on a marina in a beautiful old town, it's going to cost you a little bit more money than it will if you're going to be having food on like a main street where a bus station is. But nonetheless, it just makes a little bit more sense, and it's a little bit of a tip for you all if you are planning a trip to Kaş soon. All right guys, so after a quick mountainous windy drive, we've made our way back to Kalkan, where we're going to be actually spending our final night here in Kalkan. It's our last night, sad, but we're on to another destination in Turkey tomorrow. We actually have no idea where we're going because we tried to book a place in the next destination, and it's a request to book situation on Airbnb, and they haven't accepted it yet, so we're just kind of up in the air at the moment. But nonetheless, first impressions of Kaş, for me anyways, it's an absolutely beautiful place, and it's definitely somewhere that I could see myself maybe in the future looking at property. I'm sure that the prices are going to absolutely skyrocket because I'm seeing so much talk and so much hype that is building around Kaş and Kalkan and this whole sort of Turkish Riviera, or the peninsula around Kaş.
If the prices haven't already increased so much, I'm pretty sure that the hype is probably there since a few years. So I assume if you want to buy property in this area, I assume it's a lot of money. Now
is probably the time, or actually 10 years ago was probably the time to do it. But yeah, Kaş, it's very beautiful. If I had to compare Kalkan to Kaş, weirdly enough, I feel like Kalkan is more touristy than Kaş is. I feel like there's more British people in Kalkan than there is in Kaş as well. Like walking around Kaş, I heard so many different languages. I heard a lot of Turkish, and I heard a lot of other languages. Like I think I heard a good few Russians, but no Brits, very, very few Brits actually. But here in Kalkan, it's almost like we're in a sunny version of London or something. So it's pretty strange comparison, but both of them are absolutely stunningly beautiful. If I had to pick a favorite, I'm not gonna lie, Kaş, I think, is just slightly edging out Kalkan for me.
I couldn't agree more. Unfortunately, we made the decision, like we were looking at Kaş and we were looking at Kalkan, and both of them seemed to be very nice and similar in prices for accommodation as well. So we thought, all right, let's go to Kalkan because we heard less about the city. That's why we thought, all right, might be less touristy or whatever. But the opposite is the case. So if I had to choose again, I would probably go with Kaş as well, because it's I don't know, it just seems like there's a lot more locals, a lot more culture. You have so many different restaurants that are not necessarily catering towards Central or Western European taste, which I personally love. Like we travel actually to try local cuisines everywhere, obviously to understand the culture and so on, but to understand the culture you always have to eat the food as well. And I just felt like Kalkan is in comparison lacking that a tiny bit, but like not crazy, but like just a little bit. And yeah, as I said, I would prefer Kaş as well, but nonetheless Kalkan is super stunning as well. No matter where you go, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, Kaş just has that like special type of charm to it. It just kind of, as I was saying before, it just makes me want to just stop and have a coffee in every single one of the cafes. And it just makes me want to really just sort of sit back, relax, take everything in, and just really enjoy my time there. I feel like Kalkan, even though it is slightly smaller than Kaş, I think in size wise, it is just more busier and there's more happening. But Kaş is a very laid back place. But yeah, we love both of them. and we cannot wait to head on to our next destination. This talking track is getting long, but
Sorry.
For now, my name is Luke.
My name is Naomi.
We're the Two Mad Explorers.
And this is your reminder to keep exploring.
See you guys in the next adventure.
Görüşürüz.
Görüşürüz. Bye bye.